Who's really rolling the dice on life? Is it me, or is it you that wants to be impregnated by a comedian without a college education? That feels like one of us is a little riskier than the other. I just think the Phils are going to win, you know? That shouldn't be a crime. That shouldn't be a crime at all. Okay, since I'm single, I'm dating again, and I went on a date with a girl recently. I've been dating this girl recently. We got in our first argument, and during this argument, she informed me that I'm the only guy she's ever dated that has not been physically abusive, which is a lot of baggage to put on a human being. It's a lot. But we got in our first argument, and as soon as the fight started, she was like, "Oh my God, please don't hit me. You're not gonna hit me, right? Don't hit me." And I was like, "Baby girl, that is not my MO. You don't need to worry. That being said, if someone has hit you for this before, maybe like, stop doing it." You know, like I feel like someone tried to teach you a lesson and you did not pay attention. Like obviously you're not a kinesthetic learner, you know. This will be a verbal dispute, don't you worry. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. Okay, yeah, that was a lot. I'll give you a silly joke now to level the playing field again. Like, I don't want to be a black hat cowboy, you know. Okay, you guys like impressions? This is an impression of Old MacDonald. You may remember him for owning a farm. It's an impression of Old MacDonald when his wife catches him cheating on her. Helen, I think I owe you an apology. I've been unfaithful. And she's like, "Yeah, Bill, I went through your phone," and I was like, "Here's a hoe. There's a hoe. Everyone's a hoe." Hell yeah, I'll give one more silly joke before we get into more fucked up behaviors. I smoke cigarettes. I smoke a lot, like a pack a day. My biggest pet peeve is when someone asks me for a cigarette and they're like, "Oh no, I don't smoke menthols. I don't want that." And I'm like, "Aren't you supposed to accept any Newport in the store?" You know? Alright, maybe puns isn't the way to get your approval. I get that. I see that. Alright, I got that. Hell yeah. Thank you. I've been thinking about this PT Cruiser all day. It's really been fucking me out. It's not been cool. I also don't want to do dark ass jokes at you guys because that would be mean. And I don't want to tell abortion jokes because I'm sad, you know? I'm real worried because my pull-up game is weak as fuck. I am not. I was really worried about what would happen if I got a girl pregnant and now that Roe v. Wade's been repealed. But also I remember that as a kid I was really good at picking locks with paper clips. And I feel like that skill set might be coming back into fashion, boys and girls. You know what they say, if you want someone to appreciate you, make yourself useful. That I am. That I am. Yeah. See, I was in the misdirection. I said I wasn't going to do an abortion joke, and then plot twist. I did. Hell yeah. I hang out with my grandpa a lot. My grandpa was my favorite person in the whole wide world. Okay, he's my favorite person in the whole wide world. My grandpa started watching Fox News a lot when I was a teenager. I can only assume some of your grandpops also did, you know, or you may have, sir. I'm sorry. But it was really cool when I was little. My grandpa would call me and he'd be like, "Hey Pete, do you want to go to Chuck E. Cheese?" I was like, "Let's have a cat." Sure. Offer me a ride to scout camp or something, you know, like a reasonable human being. And now I get calls at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays. "You know what, Peter? There aren't so many goddamn illegals in our country. You wouldn't have to go to college. You get yourself a CDL." And I'm like, "Pop, I went to film school. I'm almost definitely still gonna need to get a CDL." You know, I don't think the love of over-the-road trucking will be lost on my generation. I'm sure we'll figure this out. There are no jobs in my industry. Please hire me. No, my grandpa's very cool. My grandpa's best. My grandpa, he was hardcore Trumpy-Dumpty. He was very hardcore. Loved Trump so much. But his best friend is also an illegal immigrant named Martin. He's been Martin's my grandpa's landscaper for 35 years now. And he's been illegal the whole time. Made no attempt to become a citizen. I think that's rad, dude. Balls to the wall, stick it to the man. My grandpa was like, "Oh." So my grandpa goes on these racist rants. He'll call me and be like, "Peter, all the illegals that come to our country and they rape and they murder and they take our jobs, except for my illegal. Here's a heart of gold." spirit. I appreciate him very much. Like my grandpa's also very homophobic. Like I did musicals in high school, and my grandpa was always like, "You're not queer, are you, Peter?" Meanwhile, my sister is just like full like 100%, and he has no problem with that. He's like, "Yo, Emma's so handy." Like, man, that girl really loves fixing her Jeep, doesn't she? That girl, they don't make them like that anymore. I'm like, actually, I think they openly make them more now. I think. Okay, I'll leave you guys. So then, my grandpa is an anti-vaxxer. Okay, my grandpa is an anti-vaxxer, and these times of COVID, it's sub-ideal. But I asked him why. I was like, "Why, Pop? Why? You know, like, why don't you like vaccines?" He's like, "Peter, I do not think you understand. When I was growing up, kids were not autistic." And I have to be like, "Pop, I can nearly guarantee you that they weren't." He was like, "No, Peter, we had not goddamn one. We didn't have a single goddamn tism in my day." And I'm like, "Yo, Pop, I don't want to fuck up your evening, but you have a puzzle room?" That's like a minimum of Asperger's, you know? He has a pretty valid defense for it though. He's like, Peter, if I was autistic, how have I been married to your grandmother for 58 years? I'm like, "Well, Pop, I don't know if you remember this correctly, but you didn't knock her up when you were 15. That's how the 50s went, you know? She didn't have a lot of time to test you in social situations." She did. She was like, "Oh, he's kind of cute. Oops, 4 years later, I have 4 of his children." That's how that happened. Also, she didn't have a lot of time to voice those regrets. You know what I mean? It was a different time, Pop. She probably thought it. As soon as she found out that was a thing people should have, she was like, that's what he is. That's what he is. Before, they were like, "Oh, he's disciplined. He loves his routine. He seems like a man made for the military." That's what they would say. They'd say, "That's a man who makes his bed every morning. That's the type of man you want." Meanwhile, that's a man that, like, you know, loves trains. Forever. You know, like, my grandma was owned a television appliance repair shop in Port Richmond since, like, 1964. Okay? And that's cool. But I was like, "Pop, why did you get into that?" And he's like, "Well, as a little boy, I just loved taking apart radios and putting them back together." And I'm like, "You're sure you're not autistic?" Like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Nah, dude, I didn't get no vaccine." I'm like, "You also probably have polio." That's how this happens. Okay, this is my real last joke. My grandma wanted us first gun at the age of 85. Okay, which is a problem. It's a problem. I asked him why, and he's like, "Peter, the elderly are fragile. We are fragile people." I'm like, "No, I get that. Your bones are brittle. I understand." He's like, "No, Peter, even in your own home and you're an old man, there are things that want to and can hurt you." I'm like, "No, I get that, but you understand that a Glock, like, cannot help you against the stairs, right?" Like, unless grandma falls and breaks her hip and you have to make a moral decision. Alright, I'm Pete Eckenroth. Have a good night, everybody.
Everybody, give it up for Pete Eckenroth one more time. Yeah. Pete's awesome, man. You can see him again at Helium August 3rd. All right, everybody, Helium August 3rd. Oh, man, who's talking about his grandfather? Sounds like a delightful human being, you know? I recently found out now, like, most of my family's fucked up, right? Like, I thought it just stopped at my parents, but it goes even to the elderly, too, right? Like, I called my grandma the other day. I don't know if you guys heard about that kid in Florida who died at the amusement park. Did you guys hear about that? He fell off the double shot, right? So I call my grandma, and I'm like, "Hey, Gram, did you hear about that kid who died at the amusement park in Orlando?" And she goes, "Was it Disney?" I go, "No, it was the other one." She goes, "Oh, thank God." I don't think you're getting it. Like, a kid died. And she goes, "No, Logan, that's where dreams come true." And I was like, I guess that's fair. I can't argue with that logic, you know? What's fucked up is he died on a double shot. And if any of you have been to the Jersey Shore, you know this ride, right? It shoots you up once, then it's a slow descent, then it shoots you up again. Well, he fell out on the second time up, right? So there was still like a good 20-second like slow descent that everybody had to go through. You know, like imagine like the carnival still got the music going and it's like staying alive, and it's like, why would they play this? It seems kind of on the nose, you know? Worst part was in Florida they didn't even close the park after the kid died. You know, it was messed up. So you know there was like one family that got off the ride, like had to step over them, you know, and was like, hey guys, I know that was kind of rough, but we got 20 more tickets. Who wants to ride the Gravitron? You know what I'm saying? So we're here for family fun night, you know? Oh man, you guys ready for your next comic? We having fun? Let's hear it, let's hear it, let me see it. All right, that's what I like. Everybody, that's what, yeah, that lady's back there, she's ready to go, you know what I'm saying? All right, so check it out. This next comedian, he's not only a comedian, he's a writer, actor, filmmaker. You can check out his film Brianna series, right? On YouTube right now. Everybody give it up for my friend Beta.